Hello, I just wanted to talk to you just for a few seconds regarding how to use Greek in a sermon. Sometimes what we want to do is sort of parade our knowledge because we've spent so many months, years sweating, blood and all the rest of it to actually get this stuff down. And then the excitement comes when we actually have got a text to deal with. I'm going to deal with John 8:58. You work it through, you do exegesis. I might take a bit more about this later on when we've got a bit more facility with Greek on how to actually approach the text in Greek for exegesis for a sermon. But if you're doing it, the tendency is when you come across something that's really, really exciting, and John 8:58 is exciting. I'll just read to you the verse. Epen autois Jesus, amen, amen, lego humin, prin Abraham genestai ego eimi. You can see various words there, that most of them that you know in some form or other. Jesus, masculine noun, nominative, masculine singular. The verb there, apen, is the past tense of, well, actually you've got it in two forms. You've got the past tense apen, then you've got the present tense, the next line, lego. You'll come across that verb many, many times. So Jesus said, and then autois, personal pronoun, third person, dative, plural. Jesus said to them, and then you've got this characteristic phrase from which we get the English, presumably, amen. Amen, amen, lego humin. Truly, truly, or most certainly, I say to you, second person, plural, dative, humin, I say to you, functioning there as a pronoun in respect to an antecedent, which presumably then is the detractors of Jesus. And then we get this conjunction, which I don't think we've come across, a connective prin. Before Abraham, indeclinable noun, masculine obviously, and then this verb, don't worry about this, you'll come across it again, it's very common, ginomai. Before Abraham was or has been, or before Abraham was, and then we get this fantastic statement that we want to unwrap, ego eimi. You've come across both, ego first person pronoun, nominative masculine singular, and then eimi, verb eimi, present tense, and so forth. So that you know that with the verb form, you'll have picked up that the subject is contained within the actual verb form itself, so it doesn't need two words to depict what actually person is being used here, so that you don't have to say, like as in English, I am, just Amy says I am. So therefore, when you get that personal pronoun, nominative masculine singular, ego, then that means it's very emphatic, you might say, upon the I. I indeed, I am. And there's a lot of things you can go into in this. This is where it becomes perhaps exciting, is to explore New World Translation of Jehovah's Witnesses in respect to the way that they will translate it and look at it from the standpoint of trying to get around what's rather obvious here, is that Jesus is disassociating himself with the historical present, so to speak, and putting himself outside the box of history with Abraham and saying, before Abraham was, I am. Not before Abraham was, I have been, which is a translation of a New World Translation, the Douay version, I think, which basically puts Jesus within the historical continuity of the pattern of life, but actually places him within the framework, though, of historical cause and effect, which means that he's not God, he's a God, which would fit with an Arian translation of that. But instead, Jesus associates himself then with, with Exodus 3:14 following there, with the one who is. And then you get the verb to be, which, as you well know at this point, is a very exciting, unusual verb. It's not static, it's dynamic. It doesn't take an object, it takes a predicate. So the subject and the predicate of the verb to be are exactly the same. So when Jesus says, I am, he's sort of divorcing himself from the historical context and saying, I'm someone who is separate. It's really exciting to get into this, and I love it to do that. And I hope I'm communicating the enthusiasm of it. The danger is when you're preaching is to actually showcase the Greek. I will very rarely mention Greek when I'm preaching, occasionally with words that can help me with meaning that the audience will get. For example, I've said, I've done maybe a discussion of parables, which I do using Walter Wink's ideas on parables. I would start off by saying, parable comes from a Greek word, parabole, and you can work it out yourself what it means. In other words, para, which is like a paralegal, it's someone who's alongside a lawyer, and then ballet, which is from ballo, which is ballistics. It's to throw, like a missile. So in other words, then it's something that's thrown alongside. So it's an earthly story, so to speak, that's thrown alongside our stories of our lives. That's how I would get into it. I could do that, but rarely I will do that. My terminology is to basically say, oh, my phone is ringing. I hope that nobody's going to answer me because I don't want to stop here, but I will, which is to say, ultimately I use terms like, in the original language it says, and then anybody who wants to pick up afterwards can do that. You don't want to make people feel that somehow they're second rate because they don't know Greek, or that they should know Greek to actually be a Christian. That's not the case, as we know that. All right. Wishing you well. Take care.